the mystery of an unknown rocket crash site on the moon. From the destruction of Mohenjo Daro, the Bermuda Triangle, to Mary Celeste, the face of Earth embraces multitudinous mysteries that haven't been unfolded. People have come up with the closest relevant theories to solve those mysteries that do make sense to some extent, and none has been able to elucidate them enough to call it a fact or law. The theories remain theories. You know the scientific method, right? The double crater noticed on the moon is one of those mysteries whose explanation is only theoretical. Watch the video till the end to learn about this mysterious double crater, which has been a hot topic of conversation for a couple of months now. But before we proceed, make sure to hit that subscribe button to get notified every time I post a new video. The crash. On June 24th, NASA Moon tweeted about finding 2 new craters on the moon that they speculate could have been a rocket landing site. In the recently released photos, the fresh craters can be observed that were not there during the last pass of the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. Individuals believe a mysterious rocket has flung into the far side of the moon, leaving 2 craters, and astronomers have mathematically calculated that the crash site is in the Hertzsprung crater, which is about 354 miles wide. As per the LRO report, pictures from February 28 didn't reveal any evidence of the crater, and looking at all the possible calculations and analyzes the possible emergence of the crater must have taken place between February 28 and March 21. The possible dates have proved the words that the impact wasn't there long before. The indecipherable double crater. The presence of a crater on the moon was observed, and the question was hovering already about the identity of that unknown rocket. On a more observant look, it was found that the crater is not 1 but 2. The 2 craters are overlapping each other, one of which is about 16 meters wide slightly to the west, and the other one was 18 meters wide overlapping the other and facing a bit towards the east. Uncovering this can help in the recognition of the unknown rocket and the organization behind the secret launch, because NASA stated that the double nature of the crater would lead to the unveiling of the mysterious rocket. The other space agencies gave the statement which says, "No other rocket body impacts on the moon created double craters." This conflicting statement made NASA backtrack, saying something similar. NASA explained that if a rocket has 2 heavy masses on each end, the impact could be a result of such a rocket body. But no rocket body has heavy masses on both sides. One of the 2 sides has a heavy motor and the other end bears the empty fuel tank, which is lighter. Now the question arises what that body was. Was it a rocket with a heavy body at both ends, or was it something else? A connection from the past. Bill Gray, an astronomer who alerted NASA about the ultimate collision of some mysterious object that he discovered, also further explicated the efforts that were made to find Apollo 16's rocket booster. But only before the booster could hit the moon did NASA lose contact with it. The location of impact, where the crater could have been present after the collision, remained shifty for several years. The crater appeared 6 years later, marking its existence, and for Mr. Gray, the way this double crater took shape in just 3 months was an interesting phenomenon that reminded him of the Apollo 16 booster collision. And after listening to Bill in his Project Pluto statement, I must say all of that made sense. And I see why astronomers are focusing so much on this double crater by the mysterious rocket or whatever it may be. Bill Gray stated, "I must confess that I'd naively thought it would be easier to find and would have been located shortly after impact. Finding one small crater among hordes of craters isn't all that easy. Is this crater from a rocket, or does the mystery superfold?" 2 different perspectives have appeared on the page, and people and astronomers are thinking about it either or both ways. One perspective says that the crater might be from the unrecognizable junk from space that collided with the moon, forming the double overlapping crater. This speculation is reasonable, but could there be another explanation? Another perspective goes on to suspect that the mysterious rocket would be one of China's. The information obtained by the DISCOVR trajectory points all the fingers at the China National Space Administration. The 3rd stage booster from China's 5T1 robotic spacecraft could be the culprit, and these conclusions have been drawn based on studies. Take a guess at what the Foreign Minister of China said about these allegations. He has denied and does not support these speculations. He further justified the claim by saying that the booster from the 5T1 has already fallen back into the atmosphere of the Earth and was burned by the re-entry. Surprisingly, there is no public record that the booster from the spacecraft ever re-entered our atmosphere. But the U.S. Space Command has made it clear that it cannot be confirmed if the booster has collided with the moon, as it could not be identified, and if the booster's trajectory had headed towards the moon. If these craters were created by a spacecraft, no one is willing to own the rocket which has been said to cause the impact, but the identity of the rocket can be determined by its shape and size. Although no one is owning up to this event, it still stands that the junk created by these spacecraft launch could be harming the Earth and moon. That begs the question, why are we so involved and so deeply concerned about it if leaving rogue spacecraft junk in space isn't considered illegal? One should be concerned because, according to Donald Kessler, A larger amount of space junk can initiate a chain reaction, a reaction where there are constant collisions that produce more space junk. With a greater amount of space junk, it can disturb and will make the Earth's orbit unstable. Adding more to that, debris that accumulates into the moon's atmosphere forms a cloud of space debris, and even though the moon does not have an ecosystem or any infrastructure, it still bears some of the most important and historical events in humanity. Doris Gross, an astronomer at the Australian National University and a space environmentalist, said, "We should not be intentionally or unintentionally using the moon as a space cemetery." The mystery of the double crater still remains until further evidence is released to explain what really happened between February 28th and March 21st. However, the question is indeed profound because no space agency is stepping up to name the unidentified object as their own. Every spacefaring nation is aloof from the unknown body. Does this aloofness convince us that the object was not a rocket but unrecognizable space debris? Well, certainly not. No conclusion is authentic without any evidence. But will this remain a great mystery? Maybe or maybe not. All eyes are on the research and work of international space agencies and especially on NASA. The question in this crash, at last, is a matter of curiosity, and one thing that is ascertained is that the agency that is responsible for such conspicuous impact, even though it isn't something illegal, but the responsible agency would be embarrassed by what had happened. Not forgetting, Doris Gross's statement is eye-opening. We should feel our responsibility of making our Earth a better place to live, and alongside we should be very observant of the impact that we have on our space as well. Human inventions should be monitored, that whether they are more constructive or destructive. Space is vast, so enormous and outspread that we can't even fit it in our imaginations. We should not purposely dump junk in space and make it a landfill. Our purpose should be to create a better environment for both Earth and space. That's all for today, amigos. I hope you had fun watching this video, and thanks for watching it till the end. It would mean a lot if you could subscribe and leave a like. Also, leave comments in the section below. Your valuable reviews will be appreciated.